So if you're staying near Interlaken in Switzerland, like in the Jungfrau region, this area right here, these are the best day hikes that you need to do while you're there. So I was there for like 2 weeks. It was the best trip of my life, all right? I'm going to tell you about something you can do in Lauterbrunnen I never hear anyone talk about. Also, we'll talk about a beautiful hike even your grandma could do and an awesome hike that tore my meniscus, okay? Worth it. Totally worth it. Okay, let's start with the Augstmatthorn. So while you're doing research about your trip to Switzerland, what you're gonna find is people doing what they call the Hardergrat Trail. This is a beautiful, long, gorgeous trail that is too dangerous for 90% of the people out there. Seriously, I wish I could have done it, but there's a better option, okay? Like, clips like this look absolutely fine, like, oh, what a great... But then this here, this is also the same trail. Like, you slip, you die. I don't want you to die. So here's the solution. So the Hardergrat goes from right here at Hardergrat all the way up to here. It's like 2,000 meters of elevation and like 20 kilometers long. Instead, what you can do is go from Hardergrat up to this peak right here and back. This is a much more reasonable hike. You still get like this section right here, which is just beautiful. It's still challenging and it's still rewarding. And it's a day hike. It's not like... And you don't die. You don't die. So this hike starts out in Interlaken right here on your map. There's this cable car, and it's going to go all the way up this mountain to Hardergrat. Hardergrat is right here. It's a restaurant and I think a hotel right here on the mountains. Before you even start your hike, just take some time to enjoy this. Like, these are some drone shots I got on a cloudy, kind of rainy day, and it even looks beautiful in this bad weather. Just dangling on the edge of this cliff. You can eat there. It's expensive, like everything else in Switzerland, but it's a beautiful place. So just take a few moments up there before you start your hike, just to enjoy what you've cable carred up to. From there, you're gonna head this direction, and you're gonna start by heading up through a forest. There's lots of ups and downs from this part, but mostly ups. And then eventually you'll get to this clearing, and there's gonna be like these farms up above the clouds in the mountains, which was crazy to me. Like, what a place to start farming. Like above the cloud line. You're in the stratosphere. So that's really cool. And then you're going to keep going, and eventually you're going to get to this part right here. And this is like one of the main reasons people do this hike. Beautiful. Like on a sunny day, which I did not get, unfortunately, the glacier lakes like glow aqua blue below you. Like, it's just beautiful. And it's like, the path is thin enough that it feels like you're doing something dangerous and adventurous and it's exciting, but it's really not dangerous. Like, it's wide enough that you can walk, you can even trip if you want to, and you probably aren't gonna roll off the cliff. I know it looks kind of scary, but there's enough room there, okay? It's really not dangerous, and it's a lot of fun. After this, you start to climb, okay? So there's a series of, like, humps, I would call them, and the highest hump at the end, that is Augstmatthorn. At this point, when you get to the top, you are 963 meters higher than where you started, which is pretty good for a day hike, I think. That's pretty standard for Switzerland. Like, you're gonna be around 1,000 meters of elevation. It's enough to give you a little bit of a challenge, but not kill you. And the view from the top is just incredible. It is just absolutely gorgeous. Try and get a sunny day, because this is one of those trails where if there's clouds, you're not going to see anything up here. That was my situation. Like, these are photos from my journey here. Like, it's still kind of cool because it's like moody and stuff, but I didn't get the glowing aqua blue lake. Still enjoyed it, but it's much better on a sunny day. Coming up later in the video, there's something really cool you can do in Lauterbrunnen besides just walk in this beautiful valley. There's some cool stuff to do. First of all, next, we're going to talk about the hike that tore my meniscus in my knee and whether it's something that you really want to embark on or not. Okay, up next, Gleckstein Hut. You're going to hike to this hut on the edge of this cliff way up in the mountains. It's an absolute beautiful hike, and it starts in Grindelwald, which is like my favorite place in all of Switzerland. It is so beautiful. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna catch bus 128 from the main bus station in the middle of town. Okay, it's like right by the train station too. It's a short walk. It's not bad, and you're gonna take it all the way to here, the Gleckstein stop. This is on Google Maps. You can look it up. It's in the middle of nowhere. You're gonna sit on this bus, and all the locals are gonna be getting off the bus at each stop, and it's just gonna be you, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, where the hell am I going? I'm in the middle of nowhere. But don't worry, your stop will come. You'll get out, and across the street is the start to your hike. At this point, you're gonna be in the middle of farm country, okay? There's literally gonna be cows free wandering all around you as you start the hike. Look out for landmines, because they don't have a lot of bathroom etiquette, those cows. They just kind of go where they want to go, okay? But anyway, so you're gonna cross the street, you're gonna start hiking, and you're gonna start to climb up like this on the edge of this mountain, okay? The path is a couple feet wide, just wide enough for you to walk safely. It's just gonna meander around the corner and then into this valley. So this is the path here that you see right here, and it's right on the edge of a cliff. It's really cool, really fun to walk on the edge of this mountain, and it's beautiful. And then you will get to one part that's, like, this is the scariest part right here, where you see this is like me filming as I'm walking. The rocks are just wide enough for your feet. It is safe as long as you don't trip. You trip, you're in trouble. Just don't trip. But it's very short. Like that whole clip I just showed you is the entire length of the dangerous part, I'd say. Okay, and then you're gonna get around the corner and you're gonna see this waterfall falling onto the path, which is also really cool, especially on a hot day. There is like a little rubber mat there and handrails because it might get slippery, but that felt completely safe. Here's the thing you gotta know about this hike, because this is where it changes, okay? So this hike is 9 kilometers long, and there's just about 1,000 meters of elevation. Almost all of that elevation is this next part. It's all at once, okay? And this is where I ran into trouble, because on the way down, it was very steep, and I was walking with a lot of pressure on the front of my knee and all that stuff, and then I moved in a certain way, and then... It is extremely steep on the way down, but it shouldn't be a problem for most people. I'm not gonna lie to you. But anyway, you see this drone footage? This here is what you're climbing up. This is all the elevation. It doesn't look that big in this drone footage because the drone is really high in the air when I film this. But it is very steep, but it's very cool. There's lots of spots for you to step off the trail like this one and get like a cool drone shot or something. Also, behind you is a glacier that is consistently melting, like constantly. So you kind of get this cool view of that. And then eventually, after working your way up to the top of this giant mountain, you get to this. The thing you came for. This is Gleckstein Hut, okay? There is a hotel. You can stay overnight, but it's also a restaurant. And it's wonderful. You should get what I had. It was delicious. It was a hash brown made with some fresh Alp cheese, probably from the cows we passed at the beginning of the hike, and some fresh eggs made from the chickens that are clucking around you while you're up there, and some bacon on it. And it was delicious. It goes great with a beer, and you sit at the top and you look down at the valley that you started in hours earlier. This is such a beautiful hike. I really enjoyed it. There's something unbelievably beautiful about Grindelwald and the mountains around there. I recommend you absolutely do this hike. You just got to make sure you're back, if you're not staying overnight, back by 5 p.m. to catch the last bus back into town, or you got an extra long walk ahead of you. Up next, the Subterranean waterfall in Lauterbrunnen. Okay, like if you've Googled Switzerland at all, one of the first things that comes up is Lauterbrunnen, this town right here. It is absolutely beautiful. It does live up to expectations. It is gorgeous. You can, if you want, you can just walk through the whole town like most people do, past all the tourist shops, and then down to the end, and it's a long walk on a paved sidewalk. And that's cool, but you're missing out because there's more to do. This one over to your left, there's a waterfall, but you can't see it because it's literally inside the mountain. They call it a subterranean waterfall. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it's... Oh, I should tell you, by the way, it does cost money. And the reason it costs money is because they have blasted out the interior of the mountain to build this cable car that drives up in this shaft in the middle. That's honestly, that's worth the price of admission itself. And then you get out, and then there's a series of tunnels that you're going to walk through to get to viewing spots of this waterfall that over the course of probably millennia has carved its way through this mountain. The cost for the cable car is 15 francs per person, okay? That is kind of pricey when you convert it to whatever currency you're currently using, but especially if it's Canadian dollars. But yeah, it's worth the price of admission. Honestly, it is a blast. You get to walk around these creepy dark caves and just the power. Like, I've never felt such a sense of like, I am powerless, and that is huge, because just the sheer amount of water flowing through the interior of this mountain is just crazy. It's just such a fun experience. At the data recording, off the top of my head, I don't quite remember the length of this hike and the name of the waterfalls. I'll put it up on the screen, and I'll also link the trails in the description below. And by the way, if you hop on a bus, you're going to get off at this bus stop right here. It's going to be like 5 minutes down the road. I wouldn't walk all the way there. You should just take the bus. On the way, we'll talk about how to get to this hike right here, which has become like Instagram famous. First though, I want to tell you about this hike that even your grandmother could do, okay? This is Lake Bachalpsee. This hike here is for everyone. Old, young, fit, injured, doesn't matter who you are. You can do this hike, and it's one of the most beautiful hikes in the Alps, okay? So it starts at Grindelwald First. So again, you're gonna get to the Grindelwald, it's spelt first, but it's pronounced First. It's the First cable car station. It's right in like the center of town, and it goes way up to the top of this mountain. And there's this place called First. There is so much to do here, and it's so beautiful from up here over Grindelwald. First of all, across, you're looking at the I think it's the north face of the Eiger Mountain. Listen, I've been to the Canadian Rockies a million times. There's something different about these mountains in Grindelwald. They are just so massive. Nothing will make you feel smaller than these giant mountains, okay? There's so much to do here. They have this like skywalk right here. You work your way along this man-made path, and you can see right down to the bottom, which is kind of creepy. And again, you're looking at the north face of the Eiger right in front of you. It's so big. I was in awe looking at these mountains. Then there's also zip lines, which is also awesome. You can use if you want. There's also mountain carts. You can kind of race your way down to the bottom where you started. There's lots to do. There's trolley bikes you can rent. There's a playground for kids. If you just want to have a drink and look at the view while your kids play, you can do that as well. Now, let's actually talk about this hike. It's very straightforward. There is literally a paved path from Grindelwald First that leads you to Lake Bachalpsee. It's relatively flat except for a hill at the beginning, but don't let that scare you away if you're someone really fit and really adventurous. Like, it is worth the time to do this because it's just so beautiful. First of all, the lake at the end, it's just so beautiful to just sit at this lake, have a bite to eat, and look. And then also on your way back, you're looking at the mountains the entire time you're walking back towards First. So it's beautiful. And then there's all these little grassy knolls you can go stand on and get photos. And if you got a drone, get some drone shots while you're there like I did. Like, it's just beautiful, and it's low effort. Usually when I go to a national park, like the low effort things aren't worth it because it's packed with people. You drive up, there's cars everywhere, there's exhaust fumes. You usually want to get off the beaten path and do a trip. Not here, because obviously there's no cars in Grindelwald at all, and it will probably be busy, but it's so beautiful in a way that I don't find in North America. Definitely do this hike. Again, anyone can do it, and it's super short. So those are the hikes that I would do again if I go again, and I absolutely will go to this region again. It's absolutely beautiful. I'll try and do some more videos on my trip to Switzerland in the coming year here in 2025. But if you have any questions, comment down below. And I went to Italy too. Go watch some videos.